Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the United Center. Hockey already behind me. That's how late we're working. That's how hard these people are working behind me. Still going at it. Getting ready for a Blackhawks game tomorrow. First, we watched the Celtics Bulls game that had big consequences for both teams in terms of standings here. Bulls off of a rough loss against the Bucks the night before. They wanted to bounce back, and they did not. Celtics pummeling them right out of the gate with 4 quick steals, a quick 10-point lead, and that became a 20-point lead as they were in full control of this game. About midway through the third quarter off transition looks, high 40s and up in the 50% shooting, great three-point looks, quality passing, 20 assists on the first 26 baskets. And as this team now gets within 2 games of the NBA playoffs here, Al Horford, who had 17 points, 10 rebounds, 7-7 shooting in this one, as confident as anybody that they're where they need to be.
At this point, I'm going to, just kind of stay, to do what I have to do. And we kind of know who we are already, but at the same time, we kind of have to, have to see how I'm feeling tomorrow and kind of go from there. The biggest thing for us is we have to make sure that we are at our best as a team, but also health-wise, physically. This past month, we've been playing some high-intensity basketball, really good teams. So we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for our group. We have to make sure that we're in the best position come playoff time.
Jaylen Brown adds 25 and another excellent scoring performance, transition, downhill activity. Those were all things him and Tatum were doing, playing off each other deep into this one. And defense, in position. I know Daniel Tice fouled out. Still some nitpicking from Ime Udoka pregame in terms of what he needs to accomplish to fit the Celtics system. But it does look like he's going to be part of that starting unit heading into the postseason here. And the rotation seems to be set. As Marcus Smart said after the game, there's almost a comfort in knowing that they're not going to have Robert Williams for that first round or for the foreseeable future, and they're going to have to play their game with the new rotations, with the new scheme, with the new style and adjustments that they have to play with here. And this essentially looked like that old Celtics team, getting out on runs, piling up stops, and turning that into offense. Excellent ball movement on the offensive end to build massive leads, and now 2 blowout wins, akin to what they were doing earlier in the season, 50 wins. And now the only decision left that the Celtics have as they head off to Milwaukee tomorrow is whether they want to play this out or not. Do you want to mess with seeding, emphasize rest? You have the ability to do that now, clinching the number 4 seed with a win here. You also have your own destiny toward the number 2 seed. You control that by playing the Bucks tomorrow, winning that, and then beating the Grizzlies on Sunday. With a little help from Philadelphia, Celtics would completely lock up that number 2 seed. They could do it tomorrow with a Philadelphia loss in Toronto. So mixed messaging out of the postgame in terms of whether they're going to do that. Horford saying that they need to do what's best for the team. He's talked about possibly needing to sit down a game down the stretch here, said he feels okay physically. So on a back-to-back, those are spots where the Celtics have stolen him some rest. He was probable for this game, by the way, with back soreness. Full-scale rest, I don't see it. This is a group, talking to Smart and Horford tonight, that feels confident with what they're doing, their system, their formula for victory. It's still alive even without Robert Williams III, and for them to be able to reestablish that as quickly as they have here, it's pretty remarkable. So I'm on team play it out. I also said on the postgame tonight with the Nets beating the Knicks tonight, playing in that 7-8 series, it looks like, if they're able to take care of business down the stretch of the season here, it looks like the Nets are going to be that 7 seed facing a 2. Do you dodge that? Do you feel nervous about going up against them? It's certainly a daunting task, but temperamentally, if I'm comparing the Nets and let's say the Raptors, who have kind of solidified themselves as the 5 seed late in the year here, this might be a hot take, but I like the Celtics going up against the hard team round 1, Brooklyn, who is weak on the defensive end. Toronto, stronger on the defensive end, may be able to get in the Jays' head with all that length and the randomness of their defense, as Ime Udoka likes to call it. I think Toronto, in terms of the temperament of the Celtics and where they've been at their worst this year, could be able to expose that even better than the Nets could with Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant's firepower. See this game tonight against what was a pretty passive defensive effort from Chicago. Brown, Tatum, they're able to go right downhill, and the Celtics are able to do what they want offensively and execute at a more prolific level. And there's obviously a massive gap between the Celtics defense and what Brooklyn's been able to do, even with their full team intact this year. So I'm not afraid. Celtics don't sound afraid here, but they will, as Ime Udoka said throughout the year, focus on themselves here. Do guys need rest? They'll get it. Otherwise, as Marcus Smart said, he's a competitor. He wants to play this out, but he's going to defer to what Udoka thinks. Udoka, meanwhile, going to go through scenarios on the bus, train, whatever they're taking to Milwaukee, and come up with a plan for these last 2 games here. Milwaukee tomorrow, Memphis on Sunday, and then we're on to the playoffs. Celtics, winners in Chicago, United Center, 117-94. I'm Bobby Manning for CLNS Media, Celtics All Access. We will see you tomorrow in Milwaukee. Tune into the Celtics postgame show, as well as our coverage live, pregame, in-game, and after the game here on the Garden Report.